Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday. What is it? February 15th today, day after Valentine's Day, and we'll be starting at 10:02. So let's give it a couple minutes, and we'll start then. Okay. Thanks so much for joining. Thank you. All right, meditation time. Good morning. Good morning. It is Monday, February 15th, 10:02, and getting a little snow out there. Supposed to get another half foot tomorrow. We've been getting a lot of snow, so all is well, and let's meditate. Just allowing your body to be completely comfortable. If you feel any stress in the body at all, just bringing your awareness to it. And anytime you bring conscious awareness to anything, as Eckhart Tolle has said, there is healing energy that comes with that, with awareness. So just bring it to any tension, any stress in your physical body. And just taking a nice deep breath. And just really letting go of all your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, any stresses that you're carrying at all, any troubles you're carrying. Just give all your troubles, all your worries over to God or whatever that source is for you. There's nothing you need to do, and there's nowhere you need to go other than just simply be here now. Such a powerful statement, be here now. I used to say to my brother, it's like, we're in this wonderful hot shower, and the next thing we know, it's completely over, because I love a hot shower. But so many times I missed out on the actual experience of it just because my mind was somewhere else. And even though that is an external experience, an external joy, and we're moving in a direction of internal joy, it highlights the fact that our mind is so busy. I also was on a college campus in Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, and I saw this flyer up for George Gurdjieff. And so I decided to check it out, and I went to campus to see what it was. And they asked us if we could watch the clock on the wall as the minute hand, as the second hand went around for 1 minute, and just to keep our attention focused on that. And the truth is, nobody could do it. Nobody that was there for the demonstration could actually hold their attention for even 1 minute because our mind was so busy. Depending on the studies you hear or read, Our scientists have proven that we have about 60,000 to 120,000 thoughts every single day, which means that we literally have at least one thought going on every second if you do the calculations. The Bible says in there, "Be still and know that I am God." Well, I don't know how we can be in stillness when we're having a thought every second. We're being bombarded by these thoughts, and we certainly cannot experience the stillness and silence of who we are. So what does that mean then? Does it mean we try to still our mind? This is what so many people do in meditation. They try to still their mind. It's perhaps, for me as a meditation teacher, the biggest comment I get. I'm horrible at meditating. I don't know how to still my mind. It's so busy. Stop trying to still your mind. Stop trying to still your mind. It is not necessary for the mind to be still, to be at peace. But if you're listening to the mind and you're believing all the nonsense that it's telling you, yes, you will not find peace in that moment, or most likely any moments. Well, occasionally we find peace, right? The mind can occasionally lead us to peace. It can occasionally lead us to some joy or happiness. It can occasionally lead us to love. All temporary states of being. What does it actually mean to be still, to be silent? The awakened teacher Papa G has said that if you strive for silence, nothing else is needed to discover the truth of who you are. How do we still the mind? How do we silence the mind? How do we experience and be the silence of who we are? How do we rest as our true self, as a tree would rest in complete peace with who it is, and yet it's doing nothing? And certainly scientists have shown us that there is life in everything. There's life in even a rock. It still has movement of molecules and atoms. It looks dense only because the molecules are moving so quickly that we cannot see that it is not this solid mass. But 99.999% of everything we see is space. Even the rock consists mostly of space, almost entirely of space. No matter how dense you find something, at its very core, it is almost entirely space. So you, the true you, how can it simply be without doing anything? How can it just simply be in the stillness, in the silence, and still be at peace? And the mind tells us that it's boring. What? There's nothing to do. I'm bored. Do we need something to do? Or is the doingness simply a way of entertaining the mind so the mind doesn't get bored? In truth, when we're flowing with life, we're flowing with God, there literally is joy and peace possible in every single moment. One of my favorite books, one of my favorite authors, Dan Millman, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. It was a pivotal point in my life where my dad was dying. And as I watched him die over almost a year period with cancer, I read this book, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And one of the scenes in there, it's a wonderful book to read. It's fictional but loaded with wisdom. And one of the scenes in there, Dan Millman, who plays himself as the student in the book, he befriends somebody named Socrates, or that they nickname Socrates. Socrates tells Dan to go meditate on the rock outside and don't come back until you have something interesting to share. I don't know if interesting, something profound maybe, something worth sharing maybe. Dan meditated, he came back and tried and he tried and he tried and he kept coming back, only to find that there was nothing that he had that was profound or worth sharing. And as he felt his frustration, as he wanted to change the situation to get out of it, finally he let go and he surrendered into life. And as it was at that moment that he recognized that there are no ordinary moments. Every moment when we're present in the here and now is special. And so Dan came in to his teacher and told him there are no ordinary moments. And Socrates continued on with the teaching as if nothing had happened. Not to build up his ego that he was somebody special, that he had discovered this, but simply to bring his awareness to a truth that was so important and necessary. And if I'm being honest with you, my ego self, my person, has been having these thoughts of, I'm so bored. There's got to be something else to life. But is there something else to life, or is it a belief that my life and that life itself is not enough? And that I myself, my core self, is not enough? There's some belief that I have identified with as the truth and blocks me from experiencing the beauty and freedom of every single moment. Every extraordinary moment. There are no ordinary moments. So how do we return to the stillness? How do we return to silence of who we are and be at peace with it? We simply be a conscious witness to life. That doesn't require any physical form or shape. It doesn't require anything outside of ourselves. It simply requires awareness. And as we've been saying lately, there is nothing that could exist in our life, in the world, in the universe without consciousness. Anything could happen in life, but if you're not conscious that it's happening, if there's no awareness to it, what difference does it make? You are not aware that it exists, even if it did. But it can't. There's nothing that can exist without consciousness. In this conscious awareness, as we begin to be a witness to all of life, and we flow with life, and we realize that life is enough, that it has everything, the peace, the joy, the love, everything that we need to experience the fullness and truth of who we are. But our mind wants to be entertained. It wants to travel to exotic lands. It wants to have a relationship with a perfect partner. It wants to have the perfect job. While none of these are bad or wrong, you will never find complete and sustaining peace, joy, and love by looking for it outside of yourself. At best, you will satisfy your mind for a temporary moment. And so part of the challenges of not being still or silent is that we look to our mind for for all of our troubles, all of our worries. We look to the mind for our solutions. We look to the mind for our happiness. But the mind is simply not capable of providing and helping us to recognize the truth of who we are, because it's all based on the external world. It's all based on logic. It's all based on duality of good, bad, right, and wrong. And so as long as we look to the mind for our solutions, we will be limited to the solutions that the mind can provide. And it will always be based on some past belief of what the mind, what the ego thinks is happiness. What does the ego think happiness is? Who is the ego? The ego is simply an accumulation of stories and beliefs and ideas and self-images as who you think you are, the person. That is the person. That the person is who you think you are. But does that have anything to do with who you really are? Are you just an idea, just a belief? And if so, what if that idea or belief is that you are not enough? And what if that idea is that you will never amount to anything? What if that idea is you are not an artist, you are not creative, you are not loving, you are not... And so if we look to the mind for our happiness as if it is the truth of who we are, and we look to all the stories of what we have believed ourselves to be, which is our person, then we will always be limited by what the mind has convinced us and sold us as to who we are. So the question is, do you want to continue looking towards the mind for your happiness, your peace, your joy, for truth itself? And you know there's the whole world, the whole universe. Well, let me just say all of humanity, pretty much all of humanity, is looking to the mind and believing the stories of the mind of who they think they are. Because the ego, the person, we've all accumulated different beliefs. So what's true for one person, so-called truth, is not true for another person. And therein lies the angst and the fighting and the wars of the world. Everybody thinking, everybody believing they know what the truth is. But until we're ready to give up the story of our person and return to a place of innocence and freedom beyond the mind, we will always be subjected to an incredibly busy mind. You cannot find peace, you cannot find stillness or the silence if you are always looking to your mind for the solutions and answers to what happiness is or anything else. You will always, always be broken in the mind's eye. You will never be enough. Because when you heal 3 issues, there are plenty more waiting for you, and that will continue to pop up. Every time you heal one, trust that there are more waiting for you. And it doesn't come to an end, it's infinite amount, until we stop looking to the mind as our God, as our master. So right now, I'm inviting you to make a choice. To look to the mind, or to look to the stillness, the silence, the love, the peace, the joy of who you are. And if you want to make it concise and easy, you can just look to God or whatever that higher source is for you that is rooted in love. Maybe Jesus, maybe Buddha, maybe Krishna. There's many sages that have walked this earth and that are walking this earth right now. What is a sage? Somebody that has transcended the mind and moved beyond all limitations. That they recognize that they are part of the oneness of all of creation and are actually the oneness of all creation. But I'm not asking you to believe that. I'm not asking you to believe anything I say. I'm just inviting you to explore with me and let go of. I'm inviting you to let go of your need to look to the mind for happiness, for solutions, because it will always be limited if you're looking to the mind. What is that thing? What is that intelligence that goes beyond the mind? We think we look so hard for love. We look so hard for peace and joy. It's hardwired in our DNA. It's hardwired in us to seek those. Even in the Constitution, it speaks of the pursuit of happiness. We all have it in us. It's just that people are caught in their heads and they are unconscious and they are looking to the mind for the solutions. And the solution, the true solution, the permanent solution, will never be attained through the mind. And all the things that you have been searching, all the things, peace, joy, happiness, love, truth, is the very core of who you are. And the good news is that you can never ever get rid of who you are. It's who you are. It has always been you. It will always be you. And there's nothing you can do to get rid of you. You can, however, block yourself from recognizing the truth of who you are. But even that is temporary. Everyone will return home at some point in time. Everyone. Because life, God, the universe are always working in our favor. And sometimes it feels horrific of the experiences we have. We feel so challenged and we feel so frustrated and maybe even angry or hate our life experience because we're not wanting, our mind is not wanting the experience that life and God are giving us. And so we get in this fight and struggle with life as if God doesn't know what it's doing, as if God is somehow not perfect. That's really what it comes down to, right? That we don't believe God knows what God is doing. Therefore, we have the right to judge what is happening in our life. This is definitely wrong. There's no way this can be right. What if it is all exactly perfect? What if it is? Would you be willing to just explore with that some to see if there's a possibility that God does know exactly what God's doing and God's bringing everyone and everything exactly what it needs so that we can let go of these old false beliefs that are the very thing that is blocking us from recognizing the truth that you are right now in this very moment. Right now. And I invite you to let go of the waiting. To let go of waiting for something else to happen. No, no, no. Right now, at least for this meditation, no waiting. No waiting at all. You are here. You are here right now. So I invite you to empty out all those stories, all those beliefs that would block you from recognizing that truth right here, right now. Just letting it go. Even for a moment, just a brief moment, if you were to empty out everything that you can empty out, everything that you are a witness to, all your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your memories, your experiences, all the stories of who you think you are, just let it all go, at least for this meditation. And if you want to pick it up afterwards, absolutely, feel free to do so. But you may not want to. You may not want to when you experience the beauty and the freedom of who you truly are, and who you have always been, and who you can never get rid of. You can empty out, empty everything, but you cannot empty or get rid of your true self. And so who are you? We know that the thoughts, the feelings, the experiences, the body, the mind, all of these things will either come and go or fade away at some point in time. What is it that never comes and goes? What is it that never fades away? And that is you. The you that is here right now. And you don't even have to reach out for it. You don't even have to walk one single step towards it, because it's you. There's no traveling. There's no reaching out. There's no distance between your egoic self, your person, and the core truth of who you are. It's you. And your awareness is that truth. You are the one who is conscious and aware of all of it. And as I've been saying lately, awareness does not require anything physical, nothing whatsoever, to be conscious and aware. But the other things cannot be conscious and aware of you. Anything that can be perceived, anything that can be seen by the awareness is not you. All the so-called shame and guilt and blame, the self-righteousness, the person, the body, the mind, the feelings, the thoughts, all of those can be witnessed by your true self. And when you witness them without any need to fix or change any of those, the only thing left is you and peace, the peace of who you are. I mean, really, when you consider peace, really, when you just consider peace, if you weren't to fight anything against life, if you were to accept everything about life, the only thing that's left is peace. And every single experience and situation that you have that presents itself, that life presents you a situation, you have a choice of either accepting it or rejecting it. If you reject it, You will be trying to get rid of it. You will fight against it. You will be trying to change the situation in some way to satisfy your mind, your ego. And there will be plenty of struggle, and that is what is referred to as living in hell. That is hell. When you are caught in the stress and the struggle of life because you are wanting life to be different than what it is. But if you were to accept life, life presents a situation and your mind might judge it as bad, but you, as the witness of it, if you accept it, then you can be in total peace no matter what happens. Now let's look at that a little farther. You have something, you get in a car crash, and of course the mind is going to chime in. Maybe that you were an idiot or the other person was an idiot. There might be anger, there might be hatred even, there might be frustration, disappointment, sadness. Whatever it is, your person is experiencing all of these feelings, all these emotions. Does acceptance mean that you don't have to experience all of those? No. It means you simply be aware. You notice that the person is going through disappointment. You notice that the person is going through frustration. You notice that the person is going through anger or hatred or sadness. You are simply present and aware and a witness to your person. And as the witness, you are still at peace. The core truth of who you are is still at peace because it doesn't need any of those thoughts or any of those feelings or the situation to be any different than it is. And the mind will chime in. Oh, yes, I want this situation to be different. Absolutely. Why would I accept an accident? Indeed, why would you accept an accident? You either can accept it or reject it. The situation has presented itself. It's up to you. We know that rejection is only going to cause stress, suffering, and struggle. But acceptance means accepting all of it. It means accepting your thoughts. It means accepting your feelings, but not to be pulled into those and drawn in as if it is the truth of who you are. And that is the difference between the two. Your true self can witness all the thoughts and feelings without any need to fix or change any of them. And your person experiences them, and if it's a so-called negative emotion, it will want to fix and change all of them. So being a witness, being rooted in your true self, doesn't mean that you deny the thoughts or the feelings. It means you don't allow yourself to be pulled into the drama of them, which pulls you back into your person, back into your ego, back into your beliefs of what you think right and wrong and good and bad is. The duality of the mind. And I'm just noticing the juice behind all this is very good, very powerful. Very good. So just bringing your awareness back to your breath. Just being aware, just being a witness to the breath. And just noticing. There's nothing you need to fix or change about it. It's perfect exactly the way it is. And that's why the breath is so beautiful to be aware of. because it brings us back to the present moment where we can simply witness it without any need to fix or change it, or without any effort, because the breath is happening all by itself. And when the thoughts come in, when the feelings come in, we can do the same exact thing with those. As the witness to those, we don't need to fix or change them. We don't need to do self-talk. We don't need to try to get rid of the thoughts or feelings. We don't need to fight against them. In the acceptance of them, in the awareness of them, there's still peace. And we're still rooted in the truth of who we are, which is in complete flow and acceptance of life. So just bringing your awareness back to your breath. And when the thoughts come in, just simply notice them, just witness them. To do anything with them whatsoever other than just notice them and allow them to just gently and effortlessly pass on by and come back to being aware of your breath, which is coming back home to who you are, the one who is a witness to the thoughts, to the feelings, to the body, to the experiences, and to the breath. And if your mind has drifted, just simply coming back to being aware of your breath. The love and the joy of who you are. I don't want you to think of it in any way. It's not a concept. What we do in these meditations is we clear out. We let go of all those things that we are not, so that only the truth of who we are remains. The one thing that you can never ever get rid of, and that is the formless, non-physical, conscious awareness that you are. That's all. You are simply the one who is a witness to all of life, without needing to fix or change any of it. And again, just returning to being aware of your breath. And just coming back to being aware of your breath. And just practicing that during your day as well. If your mind is drifting, or if you're feeling stress in any way, You don't need to follow the thoughts out. You can acknowledge them. You can acknowledge your feelings. It's not about denying them. It's accepting them in their totality. But as soon as you are aware of them, you don't need to lament over them or to get caught in them at all. Simply return to the present moment. Simply return to who you are. Present conscious awareness. And if your mind has drifted, just allowing the thoughts to gently and effortlessly pass on by and come back to being aware of your breath. Come back to the present moment. Come back to you. we're going to begin to bring this meditation to completion. So if you'd like to continue meditating, please either mute or turn your device off. And thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath. And just making sure you're fully rooted, fully grounded in your body. And just wiggling your fingers, your toes, stretching, just getting that energy flowing back in your body again. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. Still can't quite open my eye as much as I would like it to, but let's see. I hope I'm not froze up here. I see I froze up just a little bit there, so hopefully we're doing okay. Okay, I am going to go over to Facebook right now and just take a peek over there if anybody wants to say hi. Let's see here. Let me back that up a little bit. Let's see here. And see, Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Nice to have you join this morning. Good morning. Good morning. And Cheryl, lots of thoughts for sure. Okay, yeah, no worry, Cheryl. No worry, my friend. Yep. And actually, sometimes when the mind is busy, it sometimes is because we're becoming more conscious and aware. The more you become conscious and aware, you become conscious and aware of thoughts and beliefs that you're still holding on to that need to be released. So sometimes it could be that it's actually serving you, and it could be very powerful meditations if we're continuing to watch the busyness, and that's perfect. So no worries at all. And you're welcome, Sharon. You're welcome. And I don't see my buddy Michelle on here this morning, so I think that is about it. And let's see here. Let me go over to YouTube also and see who might be visiting in YouTube land if you want to share something. Let's see, did it pop up for me? Huh. Huh. Let's see. Okay, there it goes. Yeah. Okay. Sandy, thank you, Brett. Nice to. I need my glasses. My eyes a little out of sorts still here. Thank you, Brett. Nice to move more easily. Let the thoughts pass. Your eye will get better. Thanks. I feel it will too. I've been doing a lot of fasting, which can really just about heal everything, pretty much. So that's my approach. But and that's it. So just gonna take another peek over here at Facebook just to see if there was any other comments, and I think we're good on there. So okay, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I thought it was a good meditation today for me personally. It deepened a few things for me, so I'm grateful for it. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning, but have yourself a beautiful day. All right, namaste.